You're listening to the Unreasonable Fridays Podcast Network.
Go ahead, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of AddSpace. I'm your host, Aaron Rand Freeman, but with me, the actual host, CEO, CFO, owner, proprietor, lead therapist, travel czar, head art designer, social media maven, Elise Bacon. How are you?
Hello. I'm tired.
Why? Why would anyone be tired?
I literally have the perpetually fatigued disease. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Let's see what unhelpful things. Have you tried alkaline water, Bacon? Alkaline water.
But I'm not a battery.
Have you gone to a keto diet? Keto diet.
I actually can't do a keto diet. My body does not like keto.
How about lowering your intake of saturated fats?
I don't actually eat a lot of those.
Have you tried living, laughing, and loving?
I do, but I've found that being a professional hater is much better for my health.
A hatois? Yes.
Hatois?
A hatois, yes.
And with us, the other professional hater. Also Grammy Award winning writer.
My guy, you're killing it. You're killing me. Writer, social commentator, thought leader, observer, activist, creator, game critic, author, speaker. Jeffrey Russo.
Officially not here for your bullshit on social media.
Not here. Also, he did his laundry before 8 a.m. on a Saturday. Jeffrey Russo, ladies and gentlemen.
Jeffrey Russo!
Hello. I do my laundry early on Saturday. That is true, because I like to be punctual and stuff as an adult, you know. Yeah.
A Negro with a sense of time, which honestly one of us needs to be, because none of us here except for you is.
What are you talking about?
What's funny is that I stick to that so hard. It's like a friend of mine would say, "Hey, what are you doing to such and such?" I'm like, after I get the laundry done, whatever, I'm gonna go to the barbershop and get my lineup too, because I'm not going anywhere looking ugly too. All right, we're sticking to a schedule. All right. These are the things I do to help me maintain myself.
All I know is that there are two on the third day of International Negro Month. I am here with the facts that there are two types of niggas. There are niggas who are on time because they are early for everything. And then there are niggas who are late to everything. And there is no in between.
Yeah.
So thank you for representing the timely Negroes.
I realized in my internal development that I wasn't untimely. I didn't want to be where I had to be. And I realized there's some folks who just have bad with time for various reasons. Your brain juices, you lose time, like it's fine. But like, it wasn't I was losing time. I deeply and profoundly did not want to be where I had to be, anywhere I had to be. So I realize now as I'm older, and there are places where I want to be. I am 15 minutes early, Negro, sometimes half an hour. You know, when I show up to class sometimes so early, it's in that awkward 20-minute window where your professor just sitting there in a room with one other person, not doing shit. I'm in that awkward early window where they don't know what to do with you and they can't leave because it's their classroom. They can't not be in the room. And I'm not leaving because I paid to be here. So I'm sitting the fuck down.
You're on campus?
Yeah.
Gross.
Gotta be on campus. I gotta trying to be of the people a little bit. Gotta do it. I am. It's very easy to be very isolated here in Texas because I came here during the end of the world. I don't know nobody. And Texas is wide as fuck. I don't know anybody.
I'm sorry, they're COVID spreaders. I literally can't.
There are so many white people that even with my mutant ability to spawn Negroes, I still have so much work to do that it is accidentally isolating based on the circumstances. Now, am I there all day? No. Do I take one class? Yes. No. 2, 1. Yeah, so I'm not there all day, and I'm in and out, and yeah, but the people do help. I will own that. It is kind of nice. And they tell you not to bring any guns. My favorite bit in Texas are they don't bring your guns into this building signage, including and it'll be inside the building. So it's it'll be, don't bring your guns to the campus. And then there'll be lockers and these lockers aren't for guns. And then there'll be passive storage and it'll be this storage isn't for guns. What the fuck?
I think that's actually a federal law. You can't have a gun on campus.
Oh man.
Yes.
I for all of the conversation around school shootings, you are actually legally not allowed to bring a gun on campus.
Yes. No guns.
No guns and no drugs.
Amen.
So with that said, happy Black History Month to all my folks in the African diaspora.
That's right.
Because
listen, I'll be real. I'm the never on time Negro. It's actually a joke because I do hardcore raiding, and that raid is the only thing I have ever been consistently on time for in my entire life. And I mean that. I have not been on time to a job. I've worked at places for over 3 years and my ass can't be on time. I am incapable. I will want to be somewhere. My ass is not going to be there on time. I think my co-healer just terrifies me.
You know what's funny about being on time was that so a couple of weeks ago I went to MagFest for the first time. Shout out to the homie Javon, because he called me and he said, "Hey, you want to come to MagFest and then be on a panel?" And I also did my first in-person panel with Javon and Latoya Peterson. And thank you. And I have this thing when I go on a flight. When I go on a flight, I have this thing where I don't get anxiety, but I always think, damn, I double check everything, but it's just please let me not forget something, right? That's my only thing. I don't everything else is I don't I always leave ahead of time, or I don't have to rush because I don't have social anxiety, but I don't like when people are jittery and stuff like that, especially airport. You know what I'm saying? So I make sure I have enough time, blah blah blah. I take my time where they'll be oh, okay, remove your belongings, yada yada yada, all that good stuff. But for whatever reason, I'm telling you both, whatever reason, as soon as my ass steps into the airport, I always remember, damn, I forgot something. It'll either be a book I intended to read, or a little notebook to write my thoughts about whatever the case may be, or whatever in my journal, just writing scripts or whatever. And this time it was a charger for both my headphones and my phone. And then I just thought, God damn it. As soon as I landed in Maryland, I was just help. I don't want these things to die. And the thing is, where MagFest is at, you literally just walk a block or two and there's a CVS right there. And yes, USB chargers, why they cost as much as they do in store, I'll never understand. It's a fucking ripoff, but whatever. Now I will say, as a South Florida boy, people that live in the DMV, you Negroes are different. All right, it's not just the Negroes. I'm gonna say this real quick. Hold on, wait. I'm gonna say this real quick.
Shout out to Justin in the DMV.
Y'all different, man, because it's I went out there, it was 25 degrees, and yeah, I dressed warmly and I was fine, whatever. I just thought, there is no way I could live here. Like, yeah, I'm visiting for like maybe 3 or 4 days or whatever, blah blah, however long MacFest was. And then my homie been there for like, I think he's like almost 30, and I'm like, dog, how do you do it? Like how? Like the whole, like every other time I was there, we were just hanging out. I was just like, man, how do you do it? And then he just gave me, he was like, hey, it's just one of those things. And of course, I met other Black people who live out in the DMV too. While I was out there, and other people, and I'm just like, man, like I don't know how you do it. But that's not even the most amazing thing. When I went to MacFest, listen to me good. Listen, this is what really tripped me out. Imagine it's like 25 degrees out there, right? 25 degrees or like 30. And I'm there, I'm bundled, I'm like chilly or whatever, and I'm going to the restaurant, get food to eat, and I'm hanging out with people. Imagine it's that cold outside, and you see people wearing cosplay looking like Dante from Devil May Cry, or like 2B from Nier, and I'm like, how? Like the math in my head is like, y'all not cold?
Oh, they're having too much fun.
That had to be what it was, because like the amount of times I would just walk by people and it's just like, you're wearing that cosplay and it's this cold outside.
Was it windy or was it cold?
Yes, it was windy, Aaron. It was 12 with like wind chill.
Yeah. Those people were out there dedicated, working that. They were working that convention. I mean, it'd be like that. It was like that in New York. It's the same premise. Folks were out here. My favorite was was a young lady dressed like Felicia from Dogstalkers when it was and it was about maybe 22 degrees outside, and we were out near the water, so it's like there's just unimpeded like straight line wind into your body, and she's just like Felicia, full stop. And kudos to her, and kudos to those people. But also, you Southerners are of low constitution when it comes to the weather.
Wow. Okay.
Well,
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm here, and like the reaction to when Texas goes down to about 30, you would think that not only is it negative 15, but ice monsters have emerged from the blizzard and are taking civilians, and it's critically important that you get inside the house while the Avengers sort out the issues. Stay inside the house. It's incredibly dangerous. Yeah, so it's a regional issue. It's one of the things about living in Texas that's really weird, is that when it gets below a certain temperature, everything shuts down because there's no infrastructure. But the temperature is like 20, 30 degrees. So it's like, I'm outside. I'm like, cool. I'll put on 2 shirts and a jacket and a hoodie. Let's go. And then the entire street is barren and bone silent. I'm like, guys, please. There were folks outside grilling in like minus 20 degree weather somewhere in Europe. We must understand there must be perspective. But, I was sitting here, and this is everyone in this house that I live in with Erica, my life partner, stops doing chores when it gets below a certain, like, all of a sudden, like, the path from the inside of the house to the garbage becomes perilous, and bags of garbage start winding up in places that are not outside but not inside. And I'm like, none of you can get to around the walk from upstairs to downstairs and around the corner to the garbage can is shorter than the walk to downstairs to the kitchen. I'm just saying, and that's the most southern shit I see, is when it gets too cold, all of a sudden chores start taking odd shapes and start happening at weird cadences. All of a sudden the garbage can is not out, and it's just like, guys.
What's funny to me is like the funniest thing I saw when I was at MacFest. I went outside and it was like, I want to say 22 degrees, or was it in the middle of the day? I forget. I saw this dude who was wearing nothing but a t-shirt and shorts. He looked like me when I'm here in Florida, and I was just like, man, y'all built different, man.
Yep.
Like truly.
Listen.
Shout out to our Midwest listeners.
Right.
Out here who live regularly in negative 20, negative, well, I think sometimes gets negative 50. There was definitely negative 50.
Yeah.
And like the second it's like 20 degrees, the bitches are naked.
Listen, if I don't have to be outside long, I'm not necessarily putting on a jacket when it's 30 degrees. And you would think the amount of Southern care that emerges from places I go into for like errands, whether I go into CVS or whatever else I go, and the people behind the register, they treat me like an unhinged time traveler. Like it came from a portal and burst into the store and woke up, because they don't understand why I'm not wearing a jacket. And it never fails. You not cold? No, I'm not, because I had to go from my car 20 feet to the store and back to my car. This doesn't matter. It's just 30 degrees. Now, am I going to be sitting there laying down tarmac like this? No, but still, it's not. I'm sorry, guys. It's not the same.
The way my back reacts, absolutely the fuck not. My ass is in 5 layers, even if it's for like 2 seconds. Like the second I'm out that door, I am bundled.
Yeah.
But I've also got all of the the jokes where it's just like, oh, I'm pretty sure it's gonna rain today because of my my hips acting up, and I've got all of that essentially now. So it's just like, no, we're just not. We're just not.
Well,
Like if my neck gets too cold, I have like spasms down my back. Absolutely not. We are not having this conversation with nature.
I am
Not for 5 goddamn minutes.
I am.
I remember.
Oh, go on.
I was gonna say really quick. Like, I remember, like, because the Gaylord Resort is so massive, and MagFest is like taking place with like multiple floors, and there was like 25,000 people there, mind you, right? So it's just like, imagine it's split up in between those floors where like people are listening to music, doing arts and crafts, or at the exhibition hall buying whatever stuff to their heart's content, whatever. But the thing is, there's still doors that lead outside, right? So I was walking with places with people, and we were just talking, and I only, because I'm not going outside, I'm not obviously dressed like super warmly because I'm still within the resort or hotel, but I would forget, and I would just have my jacket and a shirt on, and I would just feel that cold snap of Maryland next to the water. Air just blow through as people are walking through the doors, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ. I was just like, ugh. I just get one of those. Like, y'all can't see, I can't see visually as you're listening to me, but I just did one of those shivers, like Aaron and Bacon, like, understand. I was just like, and to try to hold a conversation, right? And it was hilarious. And I looked at other people. There was someone, I am forgetting their name right now. Crud, I'm forgetting their name right now. I am so sorry. If you're listening to this, you're gonna be mad because we be kikiing on the Discord. But anyway, like, they themselves are also Caribbean. And then I'm looking at them, I'm like, how you specifically one of my island people and you're fine? And then they're like, well, I've just been doing this a lot longer. I'm like, okay, that's fair. And I understand. I can't keep saying, well, I'm from the South and I'm Haitian. I can't keep saying that because Haitian people out in Boston, they've been in Boston for decades. Also in Montreal, Canada, and those places get cold and also snow. I understand that. So if anyone is about to like at me, telling me,
yeah, but you live in fucking Florida.
Yeah, you live in Florida, yes.
But,
you're not a Canadian Haitian. You're a Florida Haitian.
Right. It's the way you.
Yeah, I'm not Cape Trinata. It's different.
Right. No,
you're used to it.
You get below 60 degrees and you're bundled.
Yo, like when I came back, I'm like, okay, I have a different like understanding of like cold temperature, whatever. So like the thing is like I'll just go outside, I'll just like go to the gym in like a long sleeve shirt, whatever. And then I see people who are like in hoodies and bundled, and it's like 50 or below 60. And I'm like, I used to be like one of you, but it just took being out in the DMV. I told you about that one time, like I got really cold out in Brooklyn, right? I told y'all. No, I'm pretty sure I did. Anyway, recap. I'm gonna recap super quick. The first time I went to New York, I was hanging out with my homeboy Earl, and we just went to a comedy show, whatever. The thing was, I didn't really check the weather when I went out to New York, so
that's okay.
I only had like
check the weather in New York.
I only had hoodies and like my bomber jacket or whatever, right? And the thing was, that night, it got to like 28, 29 degrees. My ass was freezing. So mind you, he's fine because he lives there and he knows how to dress or whatever. So he's good. And he's looking at me, he's like, why didn't you get
Why
something
you
for the
put
cold air? And then I'm freezing. It is Brooklyn. It is at like 10 o'clock at night, and we're walking blocks to the train station. And this Negro is looking at me. He's like, "Why didn't you prepare better?" And then I'm like, "Well, I know now, don't I?"
I will say,
Mind you, my skinny black ass was freezing until the train came for me to get back to my hotel. And I sat here, I was like, "This is a life lesson. I am learning. I have nothing else to do but freeze and learn." Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. I am going to make an executive decision, and I'm going to ask, how was MagFest otherwise? Because I realized between my spine, Bacon's neck, you being from Florida, you being in Florida, we can talk about the weather for 45
Yeah.
minutes. Like we can have an old Negro weather Negro chat, and that would be the episode. But that's not why you're here.
Right.
So we need to redirect.
So after all the yada yada, MagFest was cool because the thing is, that was my first in-person panel, and I didn't realize that until I was talking to Javon. So the panel that Javon, Latoya, and myself had was like just being in the space that we occupy pertaining to games, because Javon, he's a PhD student, and a lot of his work is on video game research as it intersects with Blackness. And Latoya, obviously, she's been in the games industry. She's a part of Glow Up Games Studio, and she's a really cool and informative human being. Has an expansive journalism background, game development, all that stuff. Very, very cool. And then there's a little old me. I say that, but the thing is, I didn't realize that within the 3 years of me doing my job, I just amassed so much information that's in my back of head. That's why Aaron and Bacon could probably attest to this. Whenever we have a random conversation about something pertaining to games industry, it's like it's all of a sudden I turn into like a black Rolodex, and then I'll say something. And the thing is, it's not like I'm like, and the thing is, when I'm responding to them, it's not like, oh, I just went to quick Google search. No, it's like in the back of my head. It's like because of all the stuff that I do, it's like, oh, that's in my head. So anyway, we talked about things like, why are layoffs happening in the industry, why Black and brown people and women tend not to get, venture capital funding and things like that. And, I was just being honest with people. It was very cool. And as you two know, I don't do so great with the accolades or whatever. I don't know if it's like a mental thing I do to myself to keep myself humble. I'm pretty sure that it is.
Imposter syndrome. Everybody gets it. Even people with accolades don't like say anything about the accolades. They're just like, "What do you mean I got accolades?" It's endlessly funny to me. I'm like, my nigga, you got like 5 awards. Like what?
Yes. Well, I have 1 award, and I just learned very recently I'm up for a second, which is very cool. And what's funny is about that is that the same thing happened during MagFest. It's like I didn't really mention it, and then the thing was, someone tagged me in another Discord. It's like, "Hey, you're from Sled. That's so awesome." And I'm like, "I'm what? Excuse me?" Because I completely missed it. I completely missed the email in my mailbox, right? And I promise you not, a few minutes prior to, I literally just published an article where I talked to a senior Black game developer about creating a brown person, specifically Samoan. And I'm talking about Malga from Overwatch, how they went about creating that character. And I said, and I thought, oh, this is why these people like put me up for this award. Okay, I get it. I do that regularly. I get it. I like talking about brown people. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to do that. And I learned. And the funny thing is, I will say, when I was at MagFest as well, I was meeting people like Dr. Kishana Gray. She is very, very cool.
She's so cool.
She is so cool. She's so nice, kind, and warm in person.
She's absolutely delightful.
Very, 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 very. It was so cool to talk to her and just spend time just talking about things. And I'm talking to her, Latoya, and other folks. And the thing about my job that I tend to not really think about, or I forget, is that a lot of my work allows me to talk about marginalized communities and people, you know, whom, let's be frank, who aren't like really the majority within the games industry. And I find like good, interesting reasons to like publish those features regularly. Not sometimes, not every now and then. I mean like regularly.
My nigga, we here at Unreasonable Fridays are familiar with your work, and we know that you are out here on the daily, on the regular, publishing about these Negroes.
And thank you. And yeah,
Why you here?
sometimes you forget. Sometimes you forget. No, truly,
I'll
sometimes
forget.
you forget.
Who
I forget.
forgets?
I
Who
forget.
forgets, Jeffrey? Who here forgets?
I forget.
You forget. You forget about the old shit you write. You be writing about Black and brown people all the fucking time. It's literally your goal as a profession.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'll be perfectly honest. It's very easy. It's very easy to. I can't say it's very easy. The thing is, there's so many things going on in the games industry, like layoffs, and we'll be talking about that. That's a great segue to that, by the way. For example, and it would be. I don't want to use the word easy, but it's certainly, you could certainly just not do that. You could certainly just talk to this person, I'm part of this AAA studio, and just by the numbers, they would be a man in white and in charge and just doing like cool things. I'm not saying I don't take away from that. I'm not saying I haven't done that. I have done that. But it's just like I make it my business to tend to talk to people of marginalized identities, marginalized groups, and like how are they making the things they make? You know, it's something I take pride in, and I'm glad other people appreciate that. But anyway, long story short, MagFest is really cool. I'm coming back. I'm gonna freeze my ass off next year. I'll find a panel and blah blah blah. I was connecting with people and seeing people for the first time, and also I was hit with, "You're that tall," and I do not take pictures of myself a lot, full body photos, and a lot of people do not think I'm as tall as I am. I still think about how Aaron was taken aback at when he saw a full body photo of me.
Oh yes, you're a whole ass football player.
I know you a big nigga. I didn't realize.
Okay. Just so I understand, I'm like 6 feet tall, and I'm probably anywhere from like 180, 185 max.
You're big, bro. You catch passes. Let's catch passes, bro.
Yes.
Like I said before, we catch passes. I don't see the problem. 6 feet, 195.
Anyway.
We're playing flag football. I expect you to physically dominate the person across from you. We're going to you. I don't know what you think's gonna happen. You're too big in the shoulders. I don't know what the fuck you thought was gonna happen. You come play flag football all that wide in the shoulders, you're gonna get the ball right in front of your face. Hands up. Body that person out. I don't see the problem.
And it's just funny to me because I realize I do not really take a lot of photos of myself like that. I was just like, oh, okay.
No, you only take them glamour face shots. Like here's this indie picture of me drinking coffee, or like look at me with this, or the intellectual Instagram picture with the book and be like, I'm reading literacy.
Yeah, bro. Your photography style is like quaint. Like that's the best way to describe it. It's just quaint. You in a coffee house looking quaint. You in your house quaint. You got a little right now. You got the fucking winter hat on, looking quaint as hell. You better catch those passes over the middle. Move that nigga and catch a pass, and then move him again.
Which is really funny because, like, no, really, he takes photos that you would expect from spoken word niggas.
Yes,
like 100%.
My man.
So what comes across is actually short man energy.
My man takes soft, intimate photos of himself and posts that shit on the internet, bro.
And then it's just like, I write about black people.
Right. So I'm thinking 5'9", 5'10", 160. You 6 feet, 6'1", 190, my guy.
Oh my god.
Big boy.
Oh my god. So with that out of the way, yeah, you know, it was a fun time. It was a fun time. I'm glad I went out there. So the real reason why I'm here,
Why are we
the real
here?
reason when I talk to Aaron and Bacon is that we are once again talking about the subject of layoffs. And what I'm going to do is to properly get us into that. I, of course, always want to know Bacon and Aaron's thoughts on that on the podcast, share them with the people and how we're just all thinking about that. So I was given that question during my panel, and sometimes see up front, it's like, what do I think about these layoffs? And the thing is, they are a function of these companies whose revenues are just not all the time, but they're massive or whatever, or they're doing well, what have you. They're institutions of capitalism. And I was asked the question of, will they stop? I said no. Now, before we continue, as of right now, by my count, from the start of the year up until now, there's been layoffs across, I want to say 24, 25 companies.
I also want to interject on some of that because there is the idea when we say like these are institutions of capitalism that we're specifically speaking of US companies, and that is not the case. I'm gonna just like, this is just a pet peeve of mine right now. Well, not right now. I've been sitting on it for a minute. We have a tendency to just kind of like do shorthand descriptions of like really complex theories without like taking into account that you can have like more than one economic system kind of happening at a time.
Right.
And that is occurred. Like Tencent is not like, China is not actually a capitalistic economic system. Does not have a capitalistic economic system, though they do have capitalism in like some forms of it embedded into their economy, because there's just not really a way to not, if that makes sense. And Tencent is one of the game companies that has done massive layoffs in American companies and European companies as well. So that is something I do like to state. Like, it's not just a one-sided factor. But yes, there have been multiple layoffs across not just gaming, but we are going to probably hone in specifically on gaming. But across the entirety of the tech industry and just everywhere. We're in layoff time, and it's been kind of weird because I wonder what it's gonna look like in a few months, because a lot of the job data like lags behind. But like even with like massive companies, like we just like laid off 10,000 people. It's like, no, our unemployment's still okay, job market's still okay, and I'm like, what metrics are being used?
Right.
I have questions.
The thing about that is, so I'll use Microsoft because that's the most recent, even though prior to Microsoft's layoffs of 1,900 people, Unity during like what week one was 1,800 people, right?
Wasn't that right after they pulled some bullshit too?
That if you're talking about letting go the old CEO because of the whole runtime fees, yes, because of the backlash of the runtime fees from developers.
Yeah, because that was egregious. Yes. I was like, I don't know what the fuck you were thinking, Unity.
Yeah. But specifically for Microsoft, so we find out that Microsoft's laying off nearly 2,000 people, right? But the thing is, before them, Riot Games, just to use them as an example, because I saw this was used as an example on the site where I work at. They officially announced that they were going 530 people. They put out an actual post on the site, very public. Hey, and it literally says we don't want this to be a case of where the news is breaking, blah blah blah. We're putting this out here. We're going to be responsible enough to let y'all know. Yes, this is a thing. It's right here on the site. You can read yada 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 yada. All right, there's that. And then when you think about Microsoft, that was a case where the news was broken by The Verge, and I'm forgetting the other website. My apologies. And that's how we find out. Right? It wasn't like an official thing that came out. Phil said, hey, we're letting go of nearly 2,000 people. Right? But here's the thing I want to mainly focus on. So a week afterwards, their Q2 earnings report comes out for Microsoft, right? Again, we're going to lay off 2,000 people. Their earnings report comes out, and it says specifically that revenue was up 18%.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that layoff specifically had nothing to do with revenue. It was just the Activision deal went through and they got a new company and they got rid of redundancies.
So, thank you for that. So, the point I'm trying to make is that every time layoffs happen, I want people to just think about a couple of things to help you just quote unquote make sense of what doesn't make sense. It's that what reasons were provided as to why layoffs were happening, and the number, let's be honest, the reasons, the numbers, what conditions led to that, how much did the company make very recently that you can look up, and if any CEOs or executive leaders take any pay cuts because of that. Now, the reason why I say that, because you're gonna say, well, I can't think of any case very recently where CEOs taken any pay cut or slash their stocks or what have you. The only reason why I say this is because oftentimes when we read things about this, it's like, oh well, I'm taking accountability for XYZ, letting all these people. We're very sorry. But again, I want people to think of that's what's being said, but are the actions really conveying that? I'm not saying I'm not pointing any fingers, but were I a leader and I'm saying I'm being held accountable. Granted, yeah, Riot Games said that we're going to give you severance packages, and so did Microsoft. Microsoft said that as well. We're going to give people severance packages. We're going to try to help make sure that they're good up until a certain point. I don't know how many months it is. Try to help them find new work.
It's their severance packages are dependent on role and job position. So
and where they're located.
And
that's what I read in one of those.
The pay is determined off of where they're located, but like
right.
Some of the healthcare benefits, etc., that's separate. But yes. In Microsoft's case, and I'm not saying this is right, I'm not saying it's wrong. I am stating that this is just what it is. That one wasn't a financially motivated decision. I mean, everything's a financially motivated decision, but this isn't a we're losing money, so we're doing layoffs decision. This was, we bought a new company, a very large company, folded them into our company, and then let go of people that we just didn't feel we could find a place for or didn't want to find a place for.
That's an excellent point. So what the larger point I want people to always think about is that just try to do your best to stop thinking about like things as in good or bad. The thing is, these are companies. They are in here in the business, or when those earning reports come out, that things are up. If something is like negative, there's going to be a statement or something that is going to talk very specifically, oh, this is why, and we're looking to address it. That is the case like 99% of the times for major companies that put out their earnings report for the shareholders to be happy. And the thing is, it's about this big company making money.
Yeah,
it's oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
there's an unrealistic business model that has taken. It's always been a thing, but it's I'm calling it like a business fad, like a business ownership fad of going with like endless growth, but that doesn't work. You can't have endless growth. It literally does not, like, it is not possible to just have continuously endless growth. And also, a lot of these tech companies, and I'm including game studios, game industries in part of tech companies because they are. Yes, do they occupy this weird niche like art creative space? Yes, but they are also tech companies. Where they don't actually they're a lot of these were created without really thinking of long-term business plans, if that makes sense. And so like the entire business model is hire a bunch of people on for a project and then lay them off as soon as the project is up. And that is a horrible business practice, by the way. It does not work in the capacity that they're trying to do it. Because like it's also like a very common thing in like trade stuff. Like if you're like building houses or if you're doing a large project, you bring in a lot of workers to work on it, but a lot of those workers are contracted their labor and they're going to be moving from like job site to job site. Like it's not like they don't continuously have a job, because like when one project is up, the union then sends them to another project, if that makes sense. And they're kind of like taking that sort of thing and they're applying it to white collar businesses, and they're doing it with, but they're not doing it with like a sustainable model, like at all. They're just, we hire a bunch of people for a project. Oh, the project's over. Now we're laying everybody off. And instead of like retaining talent and like training talent. And so it also makes it really hard to get into the games industry, because like they want you to have experience already, but like you need experience to get in there, but they don't want to train anybody.
Yeah.
They just want to bring in people who already know.
And Bacon brings up a good point, because, and that's why the recent GDC Game Developer Survey, there's a stat line in there. Ash Parrish wrote a really good article about it on The Verge, where it had a stat line about the types of people who have long careers in the games industry, and obviously that's going to be, you know, white guys. And I think the stat line is like people who have like 20 plus years in it and yada yada yada. And that's another reason why, and things like this is another reason why careers tend to be short, or people just never come back and stuff like that. And the thing I think about is that,
Isn't the average like 3 to 4 years?
last time I checked, I think it was 5. I have to double check. I'm not too sure, but that's a great question. I do have to check.
I was like, I know it's not more than 5.
Yeah, I don't believe so. I have to double check. But that's an excellent question. The thing about with the layoffs too is just that the thing, and I hate saying things like the every person or a common person. Like, I hate using like labels like that. But the thing I want people to think about is that, yes, this company. Yes, of course, you could be a fan of a company that provides you these type of games, this kind of entertainment, and all that. You know, that's just how these things work. The relationship is purely transactional. I want you to understand that. That's purely transactional, is that right? Yes, it's also could be the same company where your homeboy can be out of a job in however many years. And the thing is, when I see people get rightfully angry about these things, I'll always think about the things I said, like what conditions led to this. Is there any way to really combat against it? And the thing about unionization, yes, everybody needs to unionize. What a union would help with, and I'm pretty sure Bacon has more details, but what a union can help with is make the relationship between an employee and an employer that relationship very, very clear. And if layoffs do happen, they can soften the blow to a certain degree. Because I think I read something where Sega of America was going to let a certain number of people go. Like a certain number of people did get let go, but like the union helped reduce that to. I think Polygon has an article about that, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the exact details.
Yeah, they can't. So what a union can do is they can help advocate for better severance packages. Also, if a person has like skills that can be utilized in a different department, they can advocate for them to be utilized elsewhere within the company instead of just getting straight laid off. They can advocate for additional time. So it's like, okay, so how about because this person has this skill set and is working on this project, they stay for an additional 6 months and then they'll be let go with this severance package. Or like can being able to like, even though if you're still not like you're not working there, but you're still getting paid, you get paid as if you're working there, and you have like your full medical benefits for like a couple months, so you have there's like time to move in, like look for a new job while also not having to like be at the place that you're at. Unions can advocate for like all kinds of different shit like that. And we do live in a country where unfortunately collective bargaining rights have been severely reduced because white people would rather shoot themselves in the fucking foot than let but I'm gonna include poor whites and rather than let poor people and anybody of marginalized identities have anything, because whiteness is a social power within the United States, and better to be unemployed than to let some Negro have a job.
The thing that always trips me up, not trips me up, but I find very sobering as I like, I don't talk a lot about this because the thing is, like, when I report all these reports about layoffs, is like I really don't care about my feelings, in the sense that my feelings don't really matter. Does it feel good constantly reporting that all these people are laid off multiple times a day, multiple times throughout the week? No, it doesn't. What it reminds me of is that these are the realities for a lot of people. I too am on the talking about, because of, well, not directly, but who knows, the thing with media, right? I don't know, media jobs, that's also scary, and that's another thing I look at all the time. But anyway, pertaining back to game layoffs.
Yeah, journalism is a mess right now.
Yeah, pertaining to specifically game layoffs. The going back to my thing is that the reason why, listener, as you're listening, you probably don't see me tweet or post about I feel bad, because the thing is, I feel that expressing that kind of stuff doesn't really help, because I feel that my personal feelings don't really matter. Even though I feel like crap reporting on these things, I can't imagine what it's like being a person whom has worked however long they are in a very expensive city out of a job. That's terrifying. That's a reality for a lot of people in some of these cases. So that's why I don't say anything, because I don't know what it's like to be in the shoes of an individual.
Sucks.
Who's
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hello, how you doing? I am here. I have never worked tech job. I have never made tech job money, but I'll tell you what sucks. Getting laid off and being unemployed in an expensive ass city. Also, Uber can go, like, every delivery service can go fuck itself right now. Speaking of tech companies.
Yeah, it's facts. Wait, didn't you say that because of the rising cost of like inflation and all that stuff, that's also went up?
No, it's worse than that.
Oh,
I'll get to it in a minute. I'll wait till you finish, and then I'm gonna go
Okay.
on my fuck the
Sure.
tech companies rant.
yeah, absolutely. So that's why I often don't convey that, because again, my personal feelings on that sucks. Now, if you want to read like good writing that really talks about layoffs in tech, gaming, and media, Aftermath, the site formed by Gita Jackson and the core of those good writers, that's a good place to read on that, I believe. But me personally speaking about these things, again, it's like I told someone when after the Microsoft thing happened, like they asked me, it's like, damn, what I could do was like, I know they're in the gaming space. I told them straight up, I was like, look, player, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I certainly hope you have like another job or something on the side or whatever. And they're like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, good, because this is my professional opinion. I don't, I certainly wouldn't want to see you, you know, stuck, because that's terrifying. I certainly don't want that to happen to you. And again, I'm not saying this being cold, but the thing is, as a journalist, is just like I see so many people say stuff like, "Oh, I feel bad, I feel bad," and the thing is, I another thing too. The thing about I'm working on my empathy is that I don't want to keep centering stuff on my as a self, because I don't know the myriad of feelings that all these people. I don't know what the general rule of like thought is for like 2,000 people who lost their job and they lived out in California of all places. I don't know what that's like. And I probably never will, because I can't imagine I would willingly put myself
Oh,
in a position to do that.
it's even specifically worse because Activision did a return to office order because Activision specifically operated as if they weren't getting bought out, and so just continued doing Activision fuck shit. So they made people they tried to do ways to like get people to quit or so they could fire them, or had them move out to California, and then they got bought, and then like the deal went through, and then those fuckers got laid off after just moving to California. So like I'm just like, I actually fuck Activision on that one 100%, because usually when a company is getting bought, and if it's being run semi decently, because my issue is I don't think most of these companies are being run well, like at all. I actually think that they've been operating primarily on luck, and some of the companies that have like some of the studios that have specifically been turning uh making a huge turning point and like restructuring and refocusing it, because like this happens a lot with businesses where they stop and go, oh wait, we're not actually operating well. Like once they realize that endless growth doesn't work, once they realize that they have to listen to all of their stakeholders and not just their shareholders, once they realize how like what actual project management is and what the actual scope of the project is, uh and the cost of labor and employee management, and what turnover actually means, once once the company actually like realizes all these things, and they go, oh wait, fuck, holy shit, none of this actually works or is beneficial for us at all. We actually have to be a functional company. um it's actually a very common thing that happens in businesses where they like there's an about face, and they're like, wait a second, hold on. Sometimes a company which was like several companies, because they like kept like buying other stuff, will suddenly be like, we're just gonna split again. We're gonna split. We don't actually want to be one. Let's go back to being two companies. Like once all of that occurs, they start figuring out, but like most of them I just aren't run well. They're just not run well, and they've just been getting lucky and are finding out because we're really close to a recession and the tech bubble's kind of bursting. And some of it I think was forced, and a lot of it I think is just chronic mismanagement.
Professionally speaking, I just come across many reports that read, maybe this isn't working for us. We're going to keep trying to do different things. And the thing about game development, I always keep telling people, I can tell you that doing my job, a lot of it is like rolling dice. It is that I wish I could give you something more technical, something
No, it
more
is.
concrete. It's like
It,
rolling dice.
it's all luck, but these companies don't account for the fact that it's all luck. Like they actually don't account for that. And if you're in a business, if you are entering a really risky business, like which the games industry is, you need to make sure your company is prepared to eat a lot of costs before you're profitable. Like that has to be assumed, and they're not assuming this. Like they're just like it's almost like they're hoping for a get rich quick scheme, like the corporate edition, if that makes sense.
I almost want to have Erica.
Like I'm rolling a d20 and I'm hoping for a 17 or higher.
I almost want to have Erica on because this is like working with companies that are like, oh, we've been lucky for so long, please help. Then Erica goes, well, this is what you can do to function better. And they go, we don't want to do that. And that's their job all day, every day, is that interaction with companies who realize they're trying not to be lucky, but also do not want to change. So
right, it's wild. And so, but the thing is a lot of those companies, they fall, they don't succeed, and they find out. And the game industry has always had like the weirdest unstable way of management. It's been weird, just completely wild to watch. And like I said, layoffs aren't even new to the games industry. So like even with these mass layoffs, like this isn't the first time we've had this level even of mass layoffs at one time. It's literally built into the industry. I honestly think that being able to hold a position for 15 years is a massive sign of privilege, because most people in the game industry, like I said, the average is 3 to 5 years.
And that's not a position that's held by like a lot of brown people. I'll tell
Right,
you that straight
right.
up.
And
So
like I'm like, okay, cool. So you wrote for big video game companies. Like you moved your way up into like art, like into like full on management positions or like director positions. So yeah, like a lot of art directors end up being like in a company for a very long time. Like, cool. What about the people under you? How many different people under you have lost their job? And in how long of a time? And like the game industry is specifically designed to get new talent, burn that talent out, and then fire them.
the other
I know I'm
thing
saying
that's
controversial shit.
no, well, a lot of what you said is stuff that I see is regularly spoken about
I
amongst people.
I
Oh,
just
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just feel bad for people who haven't realized that your job doesn't like you.
I'm
You are
glad
a
you said that.
commodity and not a person.
I'm glad you said that. And planes flying over my head. I apologize. I'm gonna
I didn't
wait
hear
till it's
shit.
gone. Okay.
I,
Well,
I heard the plan, but it is what it is. You don't need to apologize
Yeah,
for that. We all
okay.
live on the all live on the nobody
So-
until I pop open a studio in Los Angeles, we're gonna have to deal with ambient noise. It's fine.
So, to Bacon's point, and I don't say this to be cold. I just say this matter of factly, and I understand people might be angry. But the thing I think about is over in gamesindustry.biz, like if you read This Week in Business, not this one, but the last one, it makes up a great point where we are not our work. We aren't. Because the thing is, the other unfortunate thing I think about, but I don't comment about, but I also think about sometimes as I'm reporting these things, is when I see people express, I love this company. I did XYZ for it. I was here for however many years. I just think I understand you took a lot of pride in that. This was your job. This was whatever it meant to you. I understand where that's coming from, because the way this system is built, these are things that they want us to really put her.
I mean, and
It's taken.
there's
Wait,
also
hold on. Wait. I want to say this before. I know you got a point. Hold on to it. Don't lose it. I want to say this real quick. But it blows. It blows my head into like puzzle pieces when I see this. When someone says, "I love this company for however many years." I think in one case very recently, I saw, "Oh, I was here for like 10 years. This company meant everything to me." But person, you still got let go. You weren't bulletproof. No one is. And the thing is, that's not an indictment to that person's career. I'm not saying that they didn't good work. These are the functions of companies. This is what they do. It's not a reflection on yourself and your career. I'm just saying, but at this time, aren't you kind of thinking maybe you shouldn't have done all that where your life, it sounded like your life was your job? I don't know. And these
I mean,
things suck.
so like I think it's perfectly fine to love the work that you do. I think it's perfectly fine to even love your job. Like getting fulfillment and enjoyment out of your job and your career is a blessing. I think that's great. I want that, but I'm also stating like I broke my body. Literally, it does not function doing something that I love to do, and I would never do that again. I would take better care of myself. I would prioritize myself, and I would try to make sure that I'm working in like better environments, and I wouldn't ignore things. Um, it's absolutely fine. I think it's even fine to like really put your all into your job if you love it because self-satisfaction, but you need to not make your identity your place of work.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can even, because like, you know, when you work for a company and you're doing well for a company, it feels good. Like getting that it feels good when you're like, I did that and I'm getting recognized for that. Like that feels good, right? But like you still need to make sure like that your identity is not your job. And if you are going to get laid off, or if you need to be able to envision yourself at not that job or not that specific place, because you can also do your same job not there. You can also like there's also things that you can, even if you can't do that specific same job, there's things that you can do that you loved at that job elsewhere. You are not like tied to that one place, and businesses will 100% take advantage. And I feel, so this is what I feel bad for is people whose love of their work and love of where they work, that gets taken advantage of by these companies, because like I said, at the end of the day, you are a commodity. You are not actually a human being. You are a number on a piece of paper on that they put, that is part of their labor and data software. You are making them X amount of money. You are costing them X amount of money. You are a dollar sign. You are not actually a person. You may be a person to your boss, you may be a person to your colleagues. You are not a person to the people who matter.
There was a point where one of the recent layoffs, I won't say which one it was. I won't say which one it was because I don't want anything to be like self-identifying. I saw the news and then I thought, oh crap, is XYZ okay? So I DM'd them. I'm be like, yo, you good? I don't think they responded to me for like, it had to been like a little over an hour, hour and a half, whatever. But I was worried. They're like, I'm okay. And I was like, cool. And then I thought, damn, how many times have I like done that? You know?
Listen, man, getting laid off sucks. Like you can fucking hate your job and be praying to get laid off, and you get laid off, and it still sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and you know, the thing too is just like, and that's the other thing that I see a lot of where people talk about like the very real human factor, like Bacon has been talking about. It's like once you're there, that situation versus like what leads to it, and a lot of times I see people like ask, well, if a company is making this amount of money, how do these things happen? Or expose. And again, it's just like Bacon said, this is not the first time. And I saw someone said that already in January, we're like halfway to the job cuts that were made last year.
Yeah.
And again, I would say
And
before
there's
you
more
get into
coming.
this, right? Before you get into this industry, or if you want to like think about what path. This is what I'll say professionally. This is what I'll say professionally and seriously. If you certainly want to do this, think about which path for you is the most sustainable, which one you think will lead to longevity, which one you think will work out the best for you with your needs. And the thing is, those type of jobs and studios exist, albeit they're being made or people are helping create them, but they're out there, or eventually they will be, right? I again professionally I want to say is that I don't want you to go into this being caught quote unquote off guard. Like I told somebody, it's like, listen, I don't, if there's a case where I write a story and it just happens to be somewhere where you are, certainly I'm gonna be worried about you. I'm gonna do the best I can. If I see something, I'll let you know. But it's like I certainly don't want you to be in a position where you thought of, damn, why did this happen to me? Where I want you to be very aware this is one of the real possibilities that might happen. You know, and that's the biggest takeaway I want people to have. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't get into this. You should do what you feel like, because the thing is you only live once, right? If this is what you want to do, if you want to get into the field, whichever it is, media, game development, game making, whatever,
Follow your
great, go for it.
passions.
Yes, great, go for it. But please consider what you think will work out the best for you in terms of longevity and sustainability. There is nothing wrong with thinking about those things, because I certainly don't want you, brown person, gender fluid person listening to this, black person listening to this, migrant person listening to this, and then you just on a chopping block. I'm not saying that won't happen in the future. It very well maybe, but at
It
least it won't be as bad as perhaps somewhere else.
the number of people that I know who used to work at Google and who like went in with passion and came came out of there completely burned out after a few years is fucking wild, and that burnout rate is much faster for marginalized folks. It's so bad. Like they actually just want they just want to milk you for your creative talent and and chew you up and spit you out. So like whatever, like get into any of these creative industries, but like protect thyself, protect thy creativity. Honestly, put yourself before the company, because the company doesn't care about you. Even if your company cares about you, if they got a parent company, that parent company doesn't care about you. Let me put Tencent and Hasbro. Yeah, the Wizard of the Coast layoffs. That was actually that was executed by Hasbro. Hasbro told the Wizard of the Coast, you've got to lay off X number of people. That's how that works.
Yeah. I'm trying to find something that I read that was
Actually, that happened with Riot. Tencent specifically was like, Riot, you got to lay off people, bitches.
you.
Aaron's just laughing because bitches has entered my lexicon in. Actually, it's the more tired I am, the more bitches comes out.
Yeah. It's been an adventure journey.
Sorry,
you don't have to apologize.
Yeah,
you
don't
have to apologize. It just makes me laugh because I've been hearing you speak for so long that it's like I got a memo. It's like, sir, yeah, Bacon has been using the word bitch quite a lot across the base. And I'm like, and I'm like, and that's all I can do. It's like, yes,
it goes in waves. There's a new word there's another word every couple months that like comes to the forefront.
Yes, it's no problem. It just makes me laugh.
it's bitches right now.
So before we move on to the next thing, I wanted I'm gonna read an excerpt from This Week in Business regarding like the layouts at Microsoft and Riot, where I can't and it goes, I can't even begin to imagine the anxiety of spending years working on a project knowing the boss is practically excited about flushing all the work down the toilet if the testing metrics ever dip. Is today the day you find out you wasted years of your professional life for nothing? No, maybe tomorrow then. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Have your midlife crisis early. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, don't have it early, actually.
I
can't recommend it.
yeah, it's just one side thing I'll add is just that seeing a lot of layoffs and reporting a lot of layoffs certainly keeps me in what's the word I want to say? Like plan B is always in my head.
Vigilance.
Like that is really ready to go.
Look, the
I was
word
gonna say-
the word
I
is
was gonna say, my
vigilant.
nigga, you work in news. It better be in your head. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
no, it's no. Plan B is ready to
Yeah,
go.
the
you know
word
what I'm
is the word
saying?
is vigilant. By the way, you remain.
Yeah,
vigilant.
vigilance. Yeah, thank you, vigilant. Thank you so much.
Mm.
Yeah, no, it's wild because we're in a with news and journalism right now. We're in a space where first off, there's companies who don't know how to run their businesses want to try and replace people, writers, with AI, which doesn't even make sense because like AI can't do that. Like AI cannot. It literally can. It cannot do this. It cannot. AI is not at a space where it can recognize context within language. Like it's basically like super advanced pattern recognition. It cannot give you the context on why something is bad or what or give analysis, and that's like a huge part of journalism is analysis and opinion and like thought. It can't do that. It just can't. It is not a person. And so but like these these people who don't see, because the problem is they don't see people and they don't see talent and they don't see people as actual talent and things that are not just expendable. They think that this talent and creativity is super easy to replace. They're also having an issue with monetization because like before, like there were a lot of different ways you could monetize the newspaper, but with everything going online, print is not really a thing for when it comes to the news right now. A lot of the pivot. We talk about this on the last episode, which the pivot to TV and video is extremely expensive, and you still need to maintain professionals to do so. You need to maintain even more talents. Like, yes, you don't need a new an editor for your written articles, but guess what? You do need a video editor. You need video and audio editing. You still need an editor for the written components of it. Like you can't just like, I'm gonna jot down some notes and then say it. Like, I mean, we can because we're a fucking podcast, an independent podcast, and we can do whatever the fuck we want. Freemium. But like on a professional level, you can't do that. And so, and then you also have we also mentioned this, like you have like, you know, the fucker who bought the LA Times and was like, wait, how do I make money with this? It's just bleeding money. And it's like,
Yeah.
and then you have companies like Google specifically trying to lobby the government to not pass things, and Meta actually is also part of this. Trying to lobby against news organizations getting kickbacks from them utilizing their shit for free. So, and it's just like, and I know none of us are paying for subscriptions. That's not true. I did buy an Atlantic subscription before they were on some fuck shit, but I used school money for that and it was fine. And I also really needed it. Because like also these subscription prices are exorbitant, but like they're not making money. Like, and you still have to make money to give your employees benefits. And we don't want our news we actually don't want our news government owned because we want to have more opinions.
I think about
News is in a bad
how
spot right now.
yes, I think about how Meta then Facebook really hit a blow to online news, because you can look this up, but if Meta didn't do what they did, I keep saying Meta, it was Facebook then, whatever, you know what I mean. Anyway, if they didn't do what they did with online media and that blow it took, like it, online media would likely be in a different spot than it is. I don't think too much, but certainly I don't think it would be as bad pertaining to, like, online advertisements and getting a cut of revenue and what have you. But like
They
the thing
actively blocked Canadians from having access on Threads, and we're like, no, we didn't do that. We're like, but you did. Because of stuff that passed in Canada that would require Meta to give news organizations kickbacks.
Right.
The thing I think kickbacks is I can't think of the actual word right now, but it's
revenue, ad revenue, all that good stuff, like revenue, clicks, all that. But the thing I think about with media especially is that I always get scared because I think about like local media in particular, because I still think like the height of really good journalism is whatever your local reporter or paper is doing. Because the thing is, that's not something, that kind of digging, research, and work, because it's local, meaning that they have time to really dig into something. That's not something you really see replicated in corporate media or larger media outlets. Even though they have the resources, they do, but it's not the same. And I always get scared because it's like, when you lose a local paper, that to me, that is scary, because that's like a resource that's not coming back.
No,
really good journalism.
And it's not even, and like local newspapers, it's not even just a really good source of journalism. It's integral to the community. It's how the community in that area receives news, and it's news that's important to that community. There's also a lot of a lot of community organizing or work that gets like reported through those news stations. So it's like it's extremely detrimental to the local community when they lose their newspaper.
Yeah.
Like you suddenly don't know like important stuff about the high schools that are that's happening with the high schools. You don't know about that particular sheriff being a fuck ass. Like you don't, like there's you hear a lot about environmental poisoning, stuff like that. That always starts on a local newspaper level, almost always.
Yeah. I just think about recently, I've seen multiple reports about how the mayor of Miami in particular, he's in kind of hot water, because the thing is, during the whole time when he was trying to court Bitcoin over here in Miami.
Oh my God.
And when we had F1, was it F1? Yeah, when we had an F1 race, you see that he was hanging out with some like rich people, and there's like allegations of where did he get this money, where are all these things coming from, and that kind of reporting is being done by the Herald, the New Times, for example. And that's really good reporting. That's like people like digging into that kind of thing. But the thing I will say about media is, to every day as I wake up, I see something about people being let go and kind of like that. And yeah, it's scary. Is it a good feeling to wake up, think, damn, I might be next? No, but again, I have my plan B ready to go. I really can't like think of it any other way. The one thing that did take me aback one time was that seeing Aaron, you saw how they let go of like the Sports Illustrated people, right? I was just
Yeah.
like, so y'all did all that shit with the AI and then you just let people go. Oh, that's bold.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that was such a ridiculous thing too. I'm like, you literally can't replace, like, it's not, what are you doing? This is such a bad business. Like, you are tanking your own company, actively tanking your own company.
Got called out for having fake writers. People pointed that out. They took that down, and then only for months later for us to find out, okay, yeah, we let everybody go, or damn near everyone. And I'm like,
Where's your fucking newspaper?
you know what I'm saying?
Where's your
I
fucking
guess
journalism?
I guess that's why Yahoo keep hiring people. I don't know, because it's going over there, but I don't know. But yeah, but anyway, I know this has been a downer. I wanted to pivot to something else to like keep it light before like for the next, I don't know, like 22
I was
minutes.
gonna say before we get it, I got a downer because I have more fuck these tech companies.
Absolutely. Oh, right. Go ahead. Floor is yours. Go ahead.
In this week in Bacon's fuck tech companies segment. Okay, so there's been a lot of talk about like how gig workers need to have minimum wages, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
We're all agreed on this. Like they
Yes.
need to be paid. Like these tech companies that are trying to be tech companies, even though they're operating a whole taxi service, but they're trying to not be a taxi service. And they're trying to find every fucking legal loophole in the book to operate, or trying to rip people off and not pay people. So 2 years ago, 2022, in Seattle, an ordinance passed, a local ordinance passed to Seattle that provides a livable wage for app-based delivery drivers. That went into effect in January. This affects every app-based delivery service, all of them. Instacart, Shipped, Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub, even though some of them own each other at this point because they just have been eating each other up.
Yep. Eating each other up. I see what you did there.
Hey, Uber ate Postmates. And it passed. It actually it wasn't even controversial. It passed. So they freaked out then, and they were just like, "We're probably gonna have to pull out Seattle, etc., whatever." It's been 2 years. They've had 2 years to figure this out. Shit went through, and I'm gonna tell you what they did. During that 2 years, they've been increasingly rising fees. And then when the ordinance passed, both the service fees, which by the way, the service fee is supposed to just be the restaurant, but it's not. Uber and DoorDash, etc., do also have service fees. Like it's actually part, like they say that like, oh no, this isn't actually part of ours. This is actually part of the restaurant operational cost with like packaging and stuff. That's not true. They also put a fee in there. Part of the ordinance also declares that you have to list what your fees are. And so this local service fees across all of these apps rose. And then they all put on a specific local operating fee that is titled such in whichever way, thinking like that's going to make people not be pissed off at them because you do that so you can attack voters, right? It's an election year. Do you want to know what the cost is in fees?
What?
A $26 meal from a Thai place
Mm.
had $15 in fees.
Excuse me, what?
Aaron, why are you excusing me the what? I sent you the screenshot. You thought it was a meme.
I was doing it for dramatic effect. I'm very
I
familiar with this.
think that also happened here.
It
Go ahead. Sorry.
an Uber from an Uber to downtown,
Mm.
$50.
How far away is that?
It is 30 minutes bus trip.
Shit. Okay.
And 10 of those minutes is waiting for the bus.
Mm.
If the express lanes are open, it's like 15 minutes. On the light rail, and I'm thinking like I'm not like I'm thinking like south, if you're coming from like South Seattle or North Seattle or whatever, because the light rail goes all the way through. It goes from the airport. It goes actually from like Angle Lake all the way up to North Seattle. And there's a lot of stops along the way now. They've increased so many. Like if you're just going from like one of the not downtown points to downtown, it's literally 15 minutes on the link rail, and the link rail is like $3. It's like $3. $50 Uber.
Yeah.
3 years ago, it was 25.
Oh.
The price literally doubles.
A month ago, it was 35.
Mm.
This week, it was literally 50. They have lost their goddamn minds. I don't know why they think this is going to be effective.
Yeah.
We don't actually like tech companies here. Yes, is Seattle full entirely of tech companies, but very angrily.
Oh.
This is kind of
This has exponentially increased what I am going. It's a phrase I borrow from a friend. They call it the disability tax, because when you are disabled, you have to pay extra costs for stuff just to like function. So like if you, for instance, like if you buy an onion versus a chopped onion, that chopped onion is $5 when the onion is less than $1. That is a disability tax. So even though we like to, I honestly think that ordering out food as a luxury is classist. I think it's classist and ableist, and with an extra dose of go fuck yourself. Sorry, Nintendo scholarship sponsorship. Sorry, Aaron.
No, don't worry. It's a Pal World sponsorship, but there's really no difference. It's fine. Please continue.
But where's my pink guns?
Just keep talking.
So like I've maintained this for a long time, because guess what? Poor people also need to eat, and sometimes poor people don't have the time to eat. And I don't think that poverty should exclude you from like having not McDonald's. I think that's super classist. And if you have a problem with that, go examine why.
Right.
Go sit with yourself, because that's some bullshit.
Yeah, it is. Because something I think about often, the thing is, outside of my vision and having I forget what the very, very mild term of sickle cell anemia is, but anyway, I still can walk a block or two before I'm in the vicinity of, I want to say, 5 restaurants. But the thing is, that's an ability I have because I'm able to do that. But the thing is, to Bacon's point, if you're disabled and you order that on the apps, now you're looking at something that's running what you said, $40, right?
Yeah. I'll like I can send you the same screenshot I sent Aaron. I was pissed. I was pissed. And like, so I have chronic fatigue syndrome.
Right.
Walking for 10 minutes can put me on my ass for several days. It sucks. So I do have restaurants near me. Going to that restaurant can make me literally sick. Like I can get, and when I hate saying flu-like symptoms because people have like made it sound not as serious as it is. So like when I say flu-like symptoms, I mean I get from walking 10 minutes, I get a fever, a sore throat, and coughing up science, and have full body aches and chills from walking. So like if I'm in a fatigue flare up, making food for myself is one of the hardest things to do. Also, I still don't have full use of my right hand and I'm right-handed. So like cooking with with my food sensitivities, food is probably like outside of financial like food stress has actually exceeded my financial stress because I ain't got money. So like just making sure I can eat like a regular, like eat the amount of food that I need to eat has become like the biggest stressor in my life. My parents were like, I'm sorry that we're not like doing anything or we're not going anywhere or anything when I went to visit them for 5 days. And I went 9 days without having to worry about food is the best Christmas present I could ever have. So like, yeah. And so I was looking at it, I'm like, this is bullshit. The fees on my Instacart order, you don't even want to know. They also changed the way that they do all of their tip structuring. So like they even specifically say like, cause before they would show the tips coming up first. And now they're like, now what they say is Seattle drivers now get $26, which they do. It's like 26 something. They get up. I think some of the wording is up to $26 or whatever, something odd cents per hour. So tipping is not necessary. Like it's literally they state like this is how much drivers are getting paid before you can see the tipping option. Like that's not absolutely nefarious and like we can't see what you're fucking doing there.
A lot of that I will say is I often think about how elected officials like making policies is often what did they say? It's often like 5 years behind what it should be regarding to tech and stuff like that. Is that right? 5 or 6?
I'm gonna say it's that way with everything, but
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Like it's not wrong. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're behind with tech.
Right.
Policy is so behind on tech.
Yeah. And I also think too is the thing you often see is that people don't give a shit about people with disabilities unless they're the person with the disabilities. But yeah, you're right. The thing is, if we had elected 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 officials who really gave a shit, like they would have implemented these rules and would have told all these tech companies, no, you can kick rocks. This is what we're going to do to make sure you don't price gouge. And I think about that because when I went to the airport and I got an Uber, my trip ride was almost $60. And the time, and I was thinking, why was that? And the reason why it was that they get away with explanations like stuff is like, it was almost 8 o'clock. I was passing through a school zone. That's like morning rush hour traffic or whatever to get to the airplane. But still, that's bullshit.
There's an extra. There's actually an extra fee for airport pickups.
Right.
Like there actually is.
Yes.
It's in the app.
Is bullshit.
When people come visit Seattle, I specifically say, I'm like, because our light rail, and I know a lot of people are like really iffy with public transit, but the light rail is literally $3. So anytime somebody comes to Seattle, I'm like, listen, I understand you probably are nervous about public transit and you don't like public transit, but unless you're getting a hotel next to the airport, do not pay for a driver unless you absolutely fucking have to, because it is a minimum, and this is before they price gouge. It was $70 to get to go to the airport from like anywhere. Like it's $60 from the airport to downtown Seattle. It's like $70 to go anywhere not downtown. And that was before this bullshit. And again, this ordinance passed in 2022. They had 2 fucking years. And during those 2 years, they exorbitantly raised their fees. And then overnight, raised them even higher on literally everything. Shipt has now said that they're just not going to operate in Seattle, or because like Shipt was partnered with Target, and now they're like not going to. Instacart is threatening to limit their they're not. Instacart's not going to fucking limit their. Do you know how many fucking grocery stores are here? They're not going to, but they're threatening to, and it's like, go fuck yourself. First off, you need the consumers here more than we need you. Like, I mean, listen, I do rely on delivery services. Like, I 100%, I can't carry my own groceries anymore. 100% rely on them. However, figure something out. I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
If I have to order all of my perishables online and they get shipped to me in boxes in 2 days, and I just go to the grocery store for eggs and milk, I will fucking do it.
Right.
Excuse me, non-perishables, yeah. But yeah, it's fucking bonkers. Anyway, I had to get that out of my system. I'm so pissed.
Yeah. No, you had to, because the thing is, that's a reality for millions of people. And the thing I constantly think about is that a lot of people do not think about these things because it doesn't affect them, because unfortunately that's how people operate. A lot of people, not all, but and we don't have enough policymakers who really care about those things. And yeah, we should have had laws passed long ago.
Immediately, as soon as they were trying to pull that, we're like, it's gig workers, they're contracted employees bullshit. We should have had stuff on contracted employees, but there are other companies that were lobbying against that because it would affect them, because they contracted labor is how you can get out of paying people for and you can get away with not giving them benefits. And you know what the shitty part is this also is hurting local businesses. It's not just hurting the consumers, it's also hurting the local businesses here, and that's so shitty, just because people need to get fucking paid. And also, like, for people to be like, $26 is too high. Okay, our minimum wage here, like, in general, is like, we have like 2 minimum wages if you're a company of, so it's based off of company size. So if you have under 500 employees, I want to say it's like 17 something. If you have 500 or more employees, you're required to pay, like, it's like $20 an hour. So like we have a scaled minimum wage. We've had this for years. They actually tested it first at SeaTac, the airport, and then after observing that for a few years, they expanded it to Washington State. So like we actually do have a tiered of minimum wages, which I agree with. I think that's fine. So the $26 an hour for a gig worker who's like, like it's car gas delivery, like that makes sense to me. Like it's not that weird, and it's not that far off, and it's not that different from what the actual minimum wage is when you're considering what the actual job is, if that makes sense. So like it makes sense.
Yeah.
At first I was like, wow, that's high. And then I was reading more of the details, and I was like, wait, never mind, this makes sense. And again, it's up to $26.
Mm. Yeesh.
Yeah, I'm pissed.
No, rightfully so. You should be. You
They
should be.
lost their goddamn minds.
No, absolutely, and we can only hope people are focusing on that because that needs to stop.
Yeah, luckily like the local journalism around it has really been on like it hasn't all of the local reporting on it hasn't been from a full overview of the situation and not just these fees are hurting Americans.
Mm.
Minimum wage increases hurting Americans. It's like, no, look, like, and again, like I said, this past like 2 years ago, and these companies, their excuse are like I think Uber specifically was just like, we tried to get them to change their minds, and I'm like, an ordinance passed. You can't change their minds. It was already laid out. What are you talking about? The only thing that needed to be like gone over was the overall implementation, but like that was in the ordinance when it passed, buddy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm losing my brain.
No, understandably so. Now,
okay, now for something lighthearted.
Yes, something lighthearted. Thank you, because I had that in my head. Now, listener, what I'd like for you to do is, as you're listening to this, I want you to please go on social media and look up the Halo account. You'll probably see Master Chief in some colors, and you're wondering, what is this? Now, in response to you, I would just like to say this. Add some kente to your Tims. Add some kente to your rims. Add some kente to your jeans. Add some kente to the Marines.
Did you make a poem?
No, I'm reading the lyrics from Add Some Kente, the song. Like, make it. I posted this in all my Black Discords where everyone that's found that stupid
hadn't heard
social media yet. You have to listen to it. Oh my god.
I will listen.
Hold on, wait. No, you have to listen to it. I'm going to post it.
What's the name of the song?
Add Some Kente. That is literally the title of this song. It's what I responded to the tweet. That's what I say. Like, I've used it as a reaction to that tweet. Now, just to add some context, it's that you see Master Chief in colors that look like, literally kente, literally like kente colors. Okay. It looks like he's wearing a kufi.
Okay, they added the kente fabric pattern to the the shield part of the helmet, and then the rest of the armor is basically the Pan-African flag.
Yes,
it is the most ostentatious, goofy ass shit, and I love it so much because it's just so misguidedly corny. But I've also met so many misguidedly corny Negroes that it also doesn't feel out of place. Like, brothers who would unironically wear that.
I'm sure.
That there's I bet you some Negro went to a con before wearing that, and that's what that's modeled after.
That shit had me crying.
It's so bad.
No shade, but like every single Black Discord I saw, someone came across that. I just posted that Add Some Kente song, and I'm just laughing. That shit is hilarious. And that was on day one of Black History Month. Day one.
That was that master Kente Master Chief is is the official Black History Halo. And I just like I'm like thank you for this gift to Black people. Thank you. Like, I think, like I said before, I think like the worst and best part to me is I know that there are Black folks who, because this, and the specific breed and brand of Black folks I'm talking about, because we are not a monolith and we have subcultures. Our culture has subcultures, and there's a specific brand of Black person that will unironically with pride utilize that, and I am so happy for them.
I am so happy for you.
I am so happy for them. And then the bitches who are absolutely gonna wear it ironically. And I'm also happy for you. Get these jokes off.
I it I
Thank you, Halo people, for the Black History Month memes. Because all of the Black folks across all of social media got their jokes off, and I would just like to say a thank you for this gift. Thank you for letting us roast you for 3. It's been 3 days, right? No, 4 days. This is the 4th day of roasting. It's still going. It's still going. Aaron, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't care. I want to wear it. I might have to download the game to access the skin. I have Game Pass, so I can. So
it's funny that he says that after he posted that meme or whatever about Tekken 8. He's like, yeah, but you're Black. You know how to play Tekken.
I mean,
okay, but it's true.
It's true though. So it's like, it's. I mean, Atlanta is the Tekken is the Tekken capital of America.
Can confirm.
Mm-hmm. So if it's Tekken, it's Atlanta, then New York, and then Texas. So, and I mean,
just the Southwest. You can just include the Southwest.
And if we're going to pull the camera back, the best worldwide region in Tekken is Pakistan now. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's a thing, like Mexican folks in King of Fighters. Yeah. So, it is what it is. We own some of this. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. We were having that whole conversation about Latinos and King of Fighters the other day.
Yes. I love cultural fighting games. The first time I ever played King of Fighters was in a Mexican restaurant or a Mexican arcade in a restaurant. So I love it because
it was one of those things where like I didn't think it was a thing, and then I thought back to every single arcade machine arcade place and arcade machine back in Tucson and just Southern Arizona in general, and I went, wait, there was more King of Fighters than Street Fighter.
Yep.
There was so much King of Fighters. It was just all King of Fighters and Soul Calibur.
Right. And I didn't realize how popular King of Fighters was because it wasn't very popular in New York where I was. It is very popular out west and southwest and west. I didn't know that until, like you said, they still pull the camera back and stuff. I didn't know. So, but yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for the Kente. I'm here for the ridiculous Black History Month corporate pandering because it never fails to be hilarious. So that corporate representation is so desperate and earnest and disingenuous that it is in and of itself an event that I'm like, you know what? Fine, give me the Kente headband for my Guardian. I'll put it on. Fuck it. You know what? It's fine. What does it say on the back? Dr. Pepper celebrates Black. Yeah, fine. Whatever. I get a Dr. Pepper and a headband. Sure. Whatever. You nailed it.
I'm just looking forward to what else there is because there's 29 days in the month, and I'm just looking forward to whatever else we're going to see because every year there's always something funny that happens or a series of funny things that keep happening. So it's going to be interesting to say the least. Yeah. I truthfully was not expecting that to start off the month, but you know what? Like Bacon said, I'm thankful for the memes and the laughs because someone, I'm saying this real quick and I'll be done for real. Someone DM me and then they were like, now, why Master Chief got a kufi on February 1st?
Listen.
I was like, I don't know what we hear.
I always say any weird Master Chief skin is canon to the television show where that nigga's wild as hell. So I don't All weird Master Chiefs are canon. They're the TV show guy, and it makes sense. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Television show had television show had Master Chief having sex, getting his dick wet. So again, that's the canon Master Chief. You wonder why? Which Master Chief would wear Kente armor on Black History Month? The one that what was it? What if I remember? He removed his emotional inhibitor chip, and he was having sex within 12-hour windows. Fucking. So you know what? That's Master Chief. There you go. So you want to know what does this have to do with Halo? That Master Chief, the one gone off the Molly, the one who took out his inhibitor chip, the one the one in the club sweating with the drink in each hand, that Master Chief is wearing the Kente armor once he's done with brunch. And I think that unless anyone has anything else to add.
Real quick, if you like to listen to a nice EP with someone that's actually singing, it's like, hey, this is kind of nice. Bless you, Bacon. If you want to listen to a nice EP with someone singing, it's pretty good music and vocals, whatever. Miles has a EP called Baby Blue. It's really nice. It's this young artist. He has great vocals, talented. It's gonna get you right. Anything else am I missing? No. But if you are a Black person listening to this, you are of the African diaspora, I want to tell you this. For this month, I hope your lotion is extra moisturizing and your water is extra refreshing, and don't nobody play you this month. That's it.
Glow, be your best authentic self. Don't be changing for nobody.
Hold on. Is this the song you're talking about?
Yes. I posted in our group chat. And there should be a video on Facebook because the music video is not on YouTube. I think they took it down.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. And I think we're going to wrap it with Add Some Kente. Get Black History Month going.
Add some Kente to your life.
Never fails. I don't know if I'm too old, but this feels like something Kim Wayans would be doing, by the way. Like, this feels so much like Kim Wayans that
it's from a Black comedy show, yeah.
I know, but it feels so much like I miss Kim Wayans so much.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, now we're leaving.